I stopped filling every corner. Japanese minimalism showed me what I was missing. Have you ever walked into your home and felt tired just looking around? Like every surface is screaming for your attention and every corner is packed with something you barely remember buying? What if we told you that the secret to feeling calmer isn't about getting more organized, it's about having less in the first place? We've all been there. We buy something new, bring it home, find a spot for it, and suddenly realize we're running out of space. So what do? We buy more storage containers, more shelves, more organizing systems. It's like we're stuck in this endless cycle of filling up our spaces and then trying to manage all the stuff we've collected. But here's the thing. What if the problem isn't that we're bad at organizing? What if the real issue is that we're filling every single corner of our homes without ever stopping to ask why? That's exactly where we found ourselves not too long ago. Our homes felt cluttered, our minds felt scattered, and honestly, we were exhausted from constantly tidying up and moving things around. Then we stumbled across something that completely changed how we think about our spaces. It's called Japanese minimalism, and trust us, it's nothing like the cold, empty rooms you might be picturing right now. What Japanese minimalism actually means. When most people hear the word minimalism, they imagine white walls, zero decorations, and living with only 10 items total. That sounds pretty extreme, right? But Japanese minimalism is actually something much more thoughtful and, honestly, much more livable. It comes from a philosophy that's been part of Japanese culture for centuries, and it's really about understanding what truly matters to you. The Japanese approach to minimalism centers around something called ma, which basically means empty space or breathing room. But it's not just about physical emptiness. It's about creating space for peace, for thought, for life to actually happen. Think about traditional Japanese homes for a second. They're not empty and cold. They're carefully designed so that every single item has meaning and purpose. There's beauty in the simplicity, and more importantly, there's function in every choice. According to research on living environments and mental well-being, people who live in less cluttered spaces report feeling about 30% less stressed than those surrounded by excess belongings. That's a huge difference just from changing what's around us. And here's something even more interesting. Studies show that the average home in countries like the United States contains over 300,000 items. 300,000. Most of us don't even know what half of that stuff is, let alone use it regularly. So, how did we get here? Why do we feel this constant need to fill up every available space in our homes? Well, a lot of it comes down to how we've been taught to think about our living spaces. We grew up seeing magazines and TV shows where successful, happy people had homes full of things. The message was pretty clear. More stuff equals a better life. Shopping became entertainment. We browse online stores when we're bored, walk through malls to pass time, and scroll through social media seeing influencers show off their latest purchases. Before we know it, we've convinced ourselves that we need that new throw pillow, that decorative bowl, or that extra gadget we'll probably use once. And retailers are really good at this game. They've studied human psychology and know exactly how to make us feel like we're missing out if we don't buy their products. But there's something deeper going on too. Sometimes we fill our spaces because we're trying to fill something else. Maybe it's boredom, maybe it's stress, or maybe we're hoping that the right purchase will finally make us feel complete. The truth is that feeling never comes from stuff. We bring home the new item, feel excited for about a day, and then we're back to scrolling, looking for the next thing. The turning point for us came on a random Tuesday evening. We were looking for something. Honestly, can't even remember what it was, and ended up pulling everything out of a closet just to find this one thing. There were bags we'd never used, gadgets still in their packaging, clothes with tags still attached, and in that moment, sitting on the floor, surrounded by all this stuff we'd spent money on, something clicked. We realized we weren't just storing things, we were storing guilt. Guilt about the money we'd wasted, guilt about not using what we bought, guilt about being wasteful. Every item represented a decision we regretted. and we were literally building our home around these regrets. That's when we started reading about different approaches to living, and that's how Japanese minimalism found us. What changed when we stopped filling corners? The first thing we did was stop automatically filling empty spaces. This sounds simple, but it was actually really hard at first. We'd clear off a table and then feel this weird urge to put something there, a plant, a decorative item, anything. But we forced ourselves to leave it empty for a few days. And you know what? It felt amazing. That empty table became a place where we could actually do things, not just a display surface for stuff we didn't use. Then we started looking at each room and asking a question that Japanese minimalism emphasizes. Does this item serve a purpose or bring us joy? Notice that's not or in a casual way. It's both function and feeling that matter. A beautiful vase that makes us smile every morning, that stays. The random decorative items we bought because they were on sale and we thought we should have them, those had to go. And we also discovered something called the one-in, one-out rule, which is pretty popular in Japanese households. Basically, when you bring something new into your home, something old has to leave. This automatically prevents accumulation and makes you really think before buying anything new. Do you want that new sweater enough to let go of an old one? Sometimes yes, often no. The mental shift was probably the biggest change, though. We stopped seeing empty space as something that needed to be fixed or filled. Instead, we started appreciating it as a feature of our home. Empty corners became places where light could fall beautifully. Clear countertops became spaces where we could cook or work without moving piles of stuff first. Our home started feeling bigger, even though we hadn't changed the physical size at all.
The things we actually missed. Here's the surprising part. We thought we'd miss our stuff. We thought we'd regret getting rid of things or feel like our home was too empty. But the opposite happened. What we were actually missing before minimalism wasn't more things. It was space to breathe, time that wasn't spent managing clutter, and money that wasn't going toward buying and storing stuff we didn't need. We found ourselves with extra time because we weren't constantly cleaning around objects, organizing shelves, or shopping for new things to fill gaps. We had more mental energy because we weren't making dozens of tiny decisions every day about where to put things or what to do with items we didn't use. And honestly, we felt lighter. It sounds dramatic, but there's something genuinely freeing about walking into a room and not feeling overwhelmed by visual noise. Japanese minimalism also taught us to value quality over quantity. Instead of having 10 cheap plates that we didn't really love, we invested in a smaller set of beautiful ones that we actually enjoyed using every day. This applies to everything: clothes, furniture, kitchen tools, decorations. When you own less, you can afford to own better, and those better items tend to last longer and bring more satisfaction. How this connects to mental space. There's real science behind why cluttered spaces affect our mental state. Our brains are constantly processing visual information, and when our environment is chaotic, our minds can't fully relax. Research from neuroscience institutes shows that clutter competes for our attention and reduces our ability to focus. It's like having multiple browser tabs open in your mind all the time. Everything runs slower and less efficiently. Japanese minimalism recognizes this connection between our physical environments and our mental well-being. By creating calm, uncluttered spaces, we're actually giving our brains permission to rest. We're removing the constant low-level stress that comes from being surrounded by too much stuff. And the beautiful thing is, this isn't about achieving some perfect Instagram-worthy aesthetic. It's about creating spaces that support how we want to live and feel. Moving forward. If you're feeling inspired to try this approach, start small. You don't need to empty your entire home in a weekend. Pick one surface, maybe a kitchen counter or your bedside table, and clear it completely. Live with it empty for a few days and notice how it feels. Does it make that space easier to use? Does it calm you when you look at it?
That feeling is what Japanese minimalism is all about. Remember that this isn't about deprivation or following strict rules. It's about being intentional with what you allow into your space and your life. Every item should earn its place by being useful, beautiful, or meaningful to you. And those empty corners you've been trying to fill, they might just be perfect exactly as they are, giving your home and your mind room to breathe. We stopped filling every corner, and what we found in that space wasn't emptiness. It was possibility, peace, and finally, room for what really matters.